Who's going to the Super Bowl? The Eagles or the Commanders? Let's figure that out today. Final preview and prediction for the NFC Championship game. We'll also talk the AFC Championship game as well. Some other odds and ends trending in the AM. We're live with your opinions and predictions in 30 seconds.
Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 pop.
And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. We are live, YouTube and Twitter. Make sure you do me that favor, smash that like button and subscribe button. Share it out to one and all. Do it all as the race to 500 subscribers continues, and as we continue to march to taking over the sports airwaves here in Philadelphia, setting the trends for what sports talk should be. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel. You can find me on all social media platforms at Beard A Knowledge. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. That's how you find me. And we got lots to get into today as it is Friday, the 24th of January, and we are ready for NFL Championship Weekend. Final preview and prediction for our Philadelphia Eagles versus the Washington Commanders. And, of course, a little bit of a preview on the other game going on, Bills versus Chiefs. We got to get all into it, and there's a lot to dive into. Couple key things that went on and happened around the world yesterday in the Eagles world. So we've got to get into it all, and we got to figure it out, and we got to figure out how and if the Eagles will win on Sunday. And let me tell you something, it's going to be a barn burner. It is not going to be a blowout. It's not going to be a shootout. It is going to be a hard-fought, hard-hitting, close game between two division rivals that know each other ever so well against the new face of the NFL and Jayden Daniels, versus the most disliked face in the NFL, Jalen Hurts, who all he does is just win. So we're going to get into all that. Go Bills, yes, yes, yes. Look, I hope I'd be excited to face the Bills in the Super Bowl. You know why? Because that means the Eagles are in the Super Bowl. And we'll have a hell of a week, 2 weeks, of chat with you in the comments, Bills, if that's it. Go Birds, one more week. Well, 2 more weeks till the Super Bowl. 2 more nights till the championship games, just so you know. So, guys, make sure you drop those comments. Make sure you hit those like and subscribe and share buttons as we get set here. Look, first and foremost, the first thing that we need to discuss when it comes to our Philadelphia Eagles and this championship game, yesterday's practice report, yesterday's reports from practice. Wednesday was a walkthrough. They didn't really practice on Wednesday. But we got this word that if they did, Cam Jurgens and Dallas Goedert wouldn't have practiced. And we thought it was just all, whatever. But when you find out that yesterday, Thursday, during the actual practice, the main practice, the most important practice of the week, that Cam Jurgens did not just not practice, but he wasn't even out there on the field. And they were having Landon Dickerson take the snaps at center, Tyler Steen, the snaps at left guard. A team that is built to run and run block. Losing your center 2 days, 3 days before the NFC Championship game, I think is a much bigger deal than people realize. And I know a lot of people claim that he'll play, he'll tough it out, he'll get out there. But 22 times this year, Eagles players did not practice on Wednesday or Thursday at all. Only twice did those players suit up for the game. So the odds are saying there's a darn good chance that we will not have Cam Jurgens or Dallas Goedert on Sunday. And Dallas Goedert, I think we could get by without Dallas Goedert. We've done it before. But Cam Jurgens, man, that's a big deal. And Cam Jurgens had probably his worst game of the year versus the Rams. And maybe that's why. He gave up a bunch of pressures, gave up a sack. Maybe the back was an issue already for Cam Jurgens. And yes, Landon Dickerson has played center in college and a few times in the NFL in spot moments. But you're losing your center. You're losing your left guard to fill in that center. You're putting Tyler Steen in at left guard. You're making major changes to your offensive line. 3 days before you've got the biggest match, biggest game of the year, biggest game of the last few years. A chance to get back to that Super Bowl. I think it's a big, big deal that I don't think people are as worried as they should be. I could be watching Norbert. You could be watching the highlights of Djokovic withdrawing and resigning from his semifinal match at the Aussie Open. K1. Djokovic getting booed off the stadium because he tore a muscle and he quit his match. So it must have been a bunch of Eagles fans down there at the Aussie Open booing Djokovic for his WD. Just so you know, Hurts' knee be like. Hurts' knee, from the videos I've seen, Hurts practiced in full. Okay. The videos seen that for the portion that's open to the media, looked okay. So Jalen Hurts is going to go. Jalen Hurts will be a good full go. Is it going to be 100%? Probably not. But the thing is, if his knee's not 100%, you're going to rely on that running game. And if you're missing your center, and to fix the center being out, you lose your left guard, how is the run blocking going to go? How is the run blocking assignments and call-outs on the line and everything? How is it going to go when you're making 40% changes to your offensive line? That is a big deal. You're talking to a guy that used to be a diehard tennis fan. I used to never miss a major. Djokovic, 24 Grand Slam titles. Not a big fan of tennis lately. Played tennis in high school for a little bit. You're talking to a big tennis guy right here, just so you know. In stout we trust. And you know what? K1, I think you're right to say this. And this is something that I'm thinking in my mind. We put a lot into Stoutland University, that Jeff Stoutland is one of the best positional coaches in Eagles history. Maybe of all time. What he's been able to do with this offensive line for 10 years now. Or whatever it's been that he's here. He was here during the Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly brought him in, right? Whatever it is. It's been amazing. But you're talking about basically Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 3 days to re-switch up 40% of the offensive line. And yes, so I got the numbers. He has taken 42 NFL snaps at center, Landon Dickerson. And he took almost 1,200 out Alabama. He was literally Landon Dickerson drafted originally to be Kelsey's replacement, but then Kelsey played a few more years, and that's where Cam Jurgens came into it. And while Cam Jurgens hasn't been great this year in pass protection, he's been very good in run blocking. Very, very good in run blocking. As his first year replacing a legend at center. Top story on Drudge Report. Will Daniels make history? Look, the Jayden Daniels hype is a big deal. It's the real deal. I am not taking Jayden Daniels lightly. I'm not taking this historic run lightly. Some are. Some are saying, well, there's no chance that he'll ever, win a third playoff game in a row on the road, or a fifth game on the road, period, in a row. Look, you don't take the Commanders seriously, they can beat you. They can win. They put up 36 against us once before. A lot went into it. Yeah, I don't know what the Drudge Report is, so yeah, I'm not too worried about it. I'm more worried about this position of center and the Eagles' offensive line. I'm more concerned about how this line will work. And the simple fact is, and hold on, I know there's a tweet about this. Hold on a second. 22 instances. The only 2 times a player dressed when they missed both practices, Wednesday and Thursday, Johnny Wilson in week 3 and Kenny Pickett in week 18 as the emergency third quarterback. So really, twice maybe? It really hasn't happened very often this year. So it's a big deal that they did not practice at all. Now Dallas Goedert was out there on the side, like stretching and whatnot. So maybe he's got a chance to play. But Cam Jurgens not going out there at all. It's a big deal. And I don't think people are concerned enough. Yes, 1,200 snaps at Alabama at center. All pro, I think, 1 year. Or at least all SEC pro or whatever conference pro. It's a big deal when your center goes down at this point of the season. Now, Stoutland, you trust him. That's great. but I find it hard to believe that it will not have a major impact on this game, because how do you beat the legendary Jayden Daniels? You keep the ball out of his hands. How do you keep the ball out of his hands? Long, methodical drives by running the football, short pass plays. You got to have protection to do that. You got to have your run blocking on par to do that. So that's what you do. But here we are. It broke the Monica Lewinsky story. Forgot about. Did it really? I don't remember that. That was so long ago. I'm a big Eagles fan. Good morning, little G. Hope you're well. Let's kick some Commanders' butts. Hope so. I don't think the Eagles are taking the Commanders. I don't think they are either. I think fans might be taking the Commanders lightly, Marshawn. I don't think the fans are taking this Cam Jurgens story seriously enough. But I don't think the players, and I think that is something that makes Nick Sirianni such a good coach, even though Duck would call him a clown, is the fact that he's got this team prepared mentally just as much physically on a weekly basis. But you got to respect your opponent at this point in the season. Worrying ain't going to do anything. Line that shit up. I love it. I love that you've been using that line all week. I think Daniels is great, but I still take them for granted. Don't take them for granted. Yeah, I don't. Going down memory lane, absolutely. Commanders have injuries too, and absolutely. And I had the numbers. Maybe I had it on a different piece of paper. Where did I write that down? The pressure rate. Oh, there it is. With Sam Cosmi, when he was in there, they had a 17.6% pressure rate allowed. When he got hurt and was out, the Detroit was able to get a 45% pressure rate on Jayden Daniels. So Jalen Carter's going to feast on Jayden Daniels and that defensive or offensive line of the Commanders. But you still got to be able to move the ball and score. And the Eagles have a big hole looming at center. I don't even think serious fans are taking the comedy seriously. Well, Commanders fans are taking the Commanders seriously. That is for sure. Commanders fans are already counting their tickets to, or paying for their tickets to the Super Bowl. Commanders players aren't, but Commanders fans are. I've never seen so many Commanders fans come out of the woodwork as I have this week. It's actually been quite hilarious how many Commanders fans surprisingly are all over the internet out of nowhere. They haven't been relevant in 30 years. Now they're there. But I still think maybe Skip Bayless will join Trudge. Okay. Eagles are perfect constructing team. Hurts is the piece that fits. I like that. I like that way of saying it. Does it really? I've never even heard of Drudge, honestly. I don't know. Phil get probably not even a billion hits, but I would not say his show is not very relevant. My show's not very relevant. Not at this point yet. I am taking the commies seriously because you have to respect any opponent at this point. Absolutely. And yes, every team's got their injuries at this point, and every team's got stuff going wrong. But you're not a Final Four team in the NFL unless you're doing something right or have done a lot of things right throughout the season. So, yeah, you got to. But where's the confidence level? If Cam Jurgens doesn't go and Landon Dickerson, it's not just Landon Dickerson taking over at center. It's them putting a huge responsibility on Tyler Steen to fill in at left guard. And he's filled in at pretty much every position along the offensive line at some point this year and last year, except for center. So you're not just moving one piece. You're moving two pieces around. And you have to put Dickerson at center because it's either Dickerson or Nick Gates. And obviously you don't want Nick Gates out there. Does that change how the game plan is called? Does that change the style of offense the Eagles are? It's got to. Phil is like the indie brand that hasn't signed the big label contract yet. You guys don't want to see me sell out again, do you? You don't want to see me sell out to the big label, unless it's a real big label. But even that would be hard for me to do at this point. What difference does it make if us fans take it or don't take this Commander seriously? Nothing is easy at this point. Line that shit up. That's right. Look, I think that the Eagles fans are taking the Commanders much more serious than the Commanders fans are taking the Eagles seriously, if that makes sense. I mean, maybe because we've been here before, we've been disappointed before. Commanders haven't even gotten this far in 30 years. And you think about how all the disappointments, and I did a recording with Ref the District, who was on yesterday. I did a recording for their channel last night that'll drop today. And they put it pretty simply. We've had a lot of disappointments, but their disappointments are more heart-wrenching. They've had the hype and fallen much further short for over 30 years. They've had the hyped-up quarterbacks fall apart way quicker, the RG3s of the world, the different guys. So, they've been hopeful for a very long time and had their hearts crushed a lot. I like the hut spa if the Commies fans, that terrible team could not beat Syracuse University. 2 player changes on the line because some of the swing out of Mailata and Lane is in run blocking might be affected. Yeah, exactly. And I think, again, Cam Jurgens has been bad. Well, not bad, not great at pass blocking. There's no doubt about that, especially lately. But the way he gets out on swings and stuff like that, in run blocking, he's really, really good at it. And you're changing everything. You're changing a big portion of this run game. And what does it do to Saquon Barkley? What does it do to the ability to hit those home run balls? And this is not a knock on Landon Dickerson. I loved the Landon Dickerson draft pick when we had him. I thought he was Kelsey's replacement. He just turned out to be a damn great left guard, too, and Kelsey played 2 more years. So it is what it is, but it's a big, big deal. Yeah, I figured that's what you meant. Good morning, Deebs. How are you? Deebs, as a guy that scouts, does a lot of college tape, as a guy that knows a lot of the backgrounds of a lot of players, talk about Landon Dickerson, the center, and what made him such a great center in college. Because we might see it again. Our Super Bowl hopes may lie on Landon Dickerson. Marshawn thinks our rooting magic has no powers. Our rooting magic does. Good morning, Stevie Fuentes. Go Birds. Hope you were well this morning. Big weekend. It'd be like this. Eagles finally be in the NFC Championship years to come. This match might be recurring. It's going to be Daniels versus Hurts in the playoffs for a long time. The Commanders team is really good. And they got a lot of cap space. They got their draft picks. They are going to be a contender for a long time with the Eagles. The Cowboys, who are they signing? They're hiring Schottenheimer or something like that. I don't even know. Who are they hiring as their coach? Great. The Giants, they stink. So it's going to be Eagles Commanders for a long time. So this is going to be an ongoing battle and discussion for many years. Do you think the link ain't going to be loud because Landon is playing center? That doesn't have anything to do with it. Landon playing center. The loudness comes on defense. Loudness comes on that side of the ball. Deebs, get in the YouTube comment. Yeah. I don't give a shit who's at center. I fly with you. Look, I don't care. I do care. I think it does matter who plays center. I think it's a big loss if it happens. Now, Landon Dickerson said after practice that he expects him to try to give it a go and play. What a back issue, man. It's a back issue. It's a big deal. I got back issues. I know there's problems with back issues. Or Kingsbury gets another head coaching gig and the Commies go back to shit again. See, I'm not a Kingsbury guy, K1. I think Kingsbury is very, very, very overrated in the NFL ranks. I think he's more meant to be in college with his style, but, I mean, they've had a good year. Cowboys are hiring young Shoddy. Yeah, that's right. I can't believe it. He's just a yes man for Jerry. Probably, yes. Dion probably didn't get enough money to go back to working for them. And I guess Kellen Moore just isn't it. It looks like another round. I think the Saints job is the only real job left. And, you know, who would want to coach the Saints? I don't know. Cowboys hire 97-year-old Marty. No, they hired, I think it's a grandson at this point. Phil getting all spun up. I'm not getting spun up. I think I'm just trying to make a point here that I don't think you guys realize the seriousness of this injury. You care too much. Let Stoutland you do his thing. Either you pray or you worry, but you can't do both. I'm worried, but I'm praying that my worries are a waste of time. It's a massive deal. A team that wants to run the ball, losing their starting center, is a massive deal. Deep says it's a huge loss, especially when communication has been bad on the interior already. The Eagles' O-line is elite at run blocking, but it's really struggled against the stunts, et cetera, and pass protection. Absolutely. And, I've been saying it for 6, 8, 10 weeks before it was cool to say it, that our pass blocking has been bad. Hell, I've been saying it for 2 years that our pass blocking is not as good as people think. I've been saying it for 3 years that Jalen Hurts, I wish George was around still, because George would vouch for me. Been saying it since 2022 that Jalen Hurts' legs, when he could run, made it seem like the pass protection was better than it was. It's a big deal. Point two, as someone who was the all-teams at times, Washington fell off hard, 8-5 after Eagles wing slapped them. The Saints did interview Kellen. I don't know why anybody would want to coach the Saints. They got no quarterback. They're in cap hell. They're just a terrible team. Coach Kellen Moore, yeah. Kingsbury is the architect of the Commies offense. I know. And I said they're having a good year. I get that. I just felt like as a head coach, Kingsbury was extremely overrated. I think as a head coach, he was much better suited for the pros or for college. He just completely bombed in Arizona, and not just a little bit, like really bad. Saints' job is the worst of the head coaching openings. They have older team with no stars and no quarterback. They are also in cap hell. Exactly. I wouldn't want to be a commander. I wouldn't want my first job as a head coach to be that Saints job because you're destined to fail, without a doubt. As Paulie says, irregardless. Yeah. Mickey Loomis kicked the salary can down the road for like 5 straight years. Their cap is a disaster. Yeah, exactly. Brian Johnson's going to be their OC. Who, in New Orleans? Okay. Yeah, Kyler Murray does stink. I've said that for a long, long time, too. I wish George was here to talk sense into. I miss George. I don't know where George is. I'm going to have to find him on Twitter and see why I haven't seen him around lately. I hope George is okay. Maybe George still listens in the background and just is quiet. If you don't know George, GT, he was my British listener every day for a long time. He was a man of wisdom, and he brought the wisdom to the show. He was also a Jalen Hurts hater, too, to an extent. I wonder where his thoughts are on Jalen Hurts these days. So anyway, back to it. The other thing that came out yesterday, and yes, Eagles fans, including me, overreacted in the instant overreaction to it. But according to Commanders fans, he says this all the time. I just don't understand why he would say it. Commanders defensive coordinator Joe Witt went to the podium yesterday and said they plan on treating Hurts like a running back and hitting him like a running back. Because if you're going to run, we're going to hit you hard. Now, there's a whole bunch of things about this. One, you're putting a target on your back by saying that. Two, you're telling the refs to keep a closer eye on you. Three, you're giving bulletin board material for the Eagles' offensive line, whoever's at the offensive line. Now, Joe Witt may have said this kind of stuff regularly, but when you have a running quarterback on your team that takes a lot of hits, why are you going to put a target on your team by saying something like that to the public 2 or 3 days before the championship game? He's going to treat Hurts and hit him like a running back. Well, you've just set the tone for that. I don't think George is pumped, man. I think their skin color might be slightly different. Bring back curl route guy. Yeah, exactly. George Haydown John. Oh my God, you guys. Refs don't care if the hit is legal. Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, we got to watch the Commanders fan here. And obviously, there was instant overreaction because obviously Joe Witt has supposedly said this throughout the year. But I think the timing of saying it is wrong. And I think you're putting your team at a disadvantage by saying something like that right before a championship game. You don't want your quarterback being hit like a running back when he's out there. And look, Jayden Daniels runs just as much as Jalen Hurts does. So I'm not sure why you would say something like that to the media when you got someone like Jalen Carter that's going to go one-on-one with Sean Cosmi's backup and be in the backfield all game long. You're supposed to hit the quarterback. Yeah, you're supposed to hit the quarterback. But you're putting a little weird little like target and set an extra set of eyes on you by saying it the way you did. The NFL and ref has done nothing. The NFL has given tacit approval of the commies playing dirty because they have a new owner and stadium coming. All that is very relevant, for sure, Duck. Very, very relevant stuff. And, you know, there's a lot of narrative going around that the NFL wants Jayden Daniels, their new shiny toy, in the Super Bowl, on center stage, in front of the media. Now, I don't know why they'd want him and not the Eagles, because the Eagles bring the most attention. Negative attention, but attention. Washington Commanders got a rude awakening coming to them on Sunday. I hope so. I believe so. But I'm not taking them lightly. I think this game can come down to the wire. I think this game is going to come down to, what I forget who said it on Sunday, but the announcer on Sunday, second to last play, all they got to do, the Rams, is stop Jalen Carter one time and they could score a winning touchdown here. And Jalen Carter goes right up the middle, makes a huge sack of Matthew Stafford, and pretty much seals the game up. Jalen Carter's going to wreak havoc in this game. This team, the Eagles, at every single position is better. And I say every single position is better than the Washington Commanders. Some positions, it's very close. But that's it. Jalen Hurts can take hits way better than Daniels. Yes. Absolutely. Frankie Louvu is better headhunter than Indeed. I could use him. If you're running quarterback, you should get hit, but Mahomes special treatment. 100% agree with you on that. I say at this point, just bring it. Is that how I did? You got to get the right angle in the hand on the just bring it. I'm so jacked up right now. Yeah, jacked up on Mountain Dew. Is that what you are? Tough game, but Eagles win. Absolutely. I firmly believe that. I think it's going to be close. I do not like the 6-point spread. You know what tells me that I'm overreacting to the Cam Jurgens news is the fact that the betting line has not moved since Cam Jurgens didn't play. It started yesterday at -6, and it's still -6 this morning. The Eagles line did not move. So either A, they're not taking that into account that it's going to be that big of a deal like me, or B, they fully expect Cam Jurgens to play. I don't know. That line not moving does tell me that maybe I'm overreacting to the Cam Jurgens news a little too much. Eagles win by double digits. I do not agree with that at all, Rick. I'm going to be the realist here in the room. I'm going to be the one that doesn't get too over the top with the score prediction. I don't say it. I did. I write down 4 or 5 ideas for score predictions throughout the week, and then I pick one. There was one that I had the Eagles winning by 10, but I crossed that off right away. Right away. Rookie quarterbacks don't win in NFC championship games. I agree, and nobody's ever won 5 road games in a row from the end of the season through the playoffs. Nobody, not just rookie quarterbacks. No quarterbacks won 5 road games in a row. So take that into account as well. Vegas is never wrong. I do know that. I know that. And that's why the line not moving after this tells me maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, the line opened at 4, then it went up. Some places 6, some places 6.5, but it stayed there. As we start this show, Rick, talking about this Cam Jurgens news. If Cam Jurgens was definitely missing that game, I bet you that number comes back down to 4, 4.5. Now at 6, 6.5, they're hoping Commanders fans jump on that and take the +6. They're trying to egg that line at 6, 6.5 screams Vegas wanting Commanders fans to bet it. That's what it does to me. And they don't want you betting the winning pick. They want you betting the wrong one. That's undisputed Chuck E. Cheese champion pig out. I forgot about that. If Jurgens is DMP today, then you can furrow an eyebrow. Well, this is my last show of the week, so not necessarily, have time to talk about it after today. Although maybe I got to go live before the game. Maybe we'll do a live pregame show on Sunday too, depending on what's going on. But it's a big deal. Landon at center and Steen at guard is perfectly fine, especially since the Commies D-line is only average. It's perfectly fine, but it's not great. Right? Does that make sense? Like, I think they fine. Landon Dickerson's got experience. In college, he was a great center. He was one of the top centers in that draft that year. So fine. But it's concerning. Mariano won all his playoff games as a rookie. Marino, but did he win 5 playoff games on the road in a row? That's the question. This game is going to be like when the Eagles beat the Vikings in 18. Washington comes out hot, and then the Eagles absolutely shut them down and send them home. I don't see it that way. I'm sorry. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope this is a clear, free, easy game, but I see it being much, much closer than that. We're talking a 3-4 point game. I see Commanders driving for the win, just like the Rams, and Jalen Carter or Zach Bond or somebody's got to come up with a huge play again to seal the victory. Was Jonathan Allen healthy for either matchup this year? I'm not sure. I did have Jonathan Allen notes down somewhere. Give me a second, and that might answer that. Where's my last page? I was on the wrong page there. All right, let me see my Jonathan Allen notes. I don't know, but against the Lions, he did have 6 pressures, 4 hurries, 2 quarterback hits, and a tackle for loss. So that's a big deal right there. We play at 3 p.m. So maybe I'll go live at 2 o'clock for 45 minutes to an hour. Live watch party from the pizza. Oh, not from the pizza shop. I'm watching that game from my house here, all right? I ain't going to work. I'm making the wife work. 3 p.m. Centers and quarterbacks have chemistry, so it's not ideal. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of chemistry between a center and a quarterback. You don't fix that instantly. Not at all. Marino got destroyed in the Super Bowl. Marino never won a Super Bowl either. Mailata took Tupac's line from the juice in the presser. I don't give an F. Yeah, I love it. Mama Mailata cannot be happy, Jose. And I love how Jordan Mailata, before saying what he said in his presser yesterday, says, I want to apologize in advance. And then he says, I don't give a bleep. Like, seriously, love Jordan Mailata. Jordan Mailata's personality is legendary already. You can predict the future with statistical probabilities. Well, what do the statistical probabilities say, mister? It could be blowout if Hurts throws it. Maybe. Fear not, Phil. The Eagles are going to make a loud statement in this game. I think you said that about the Rams game too, Rick. And the Green Bay game before that. Shout outs to Pac. Yeah, always. What's up, Eric? Jurgen has a back issue, and probably the reason they are keeping him from practice might be related to the weather until it gets better. There's also a thing. That cold weather, trust me, as a guy that deals with back issues on the regular, man, let me tell you something. The bad back and the cold do not mix well at all. But like I said earlier, only twice this year, out of 22 opportunities, did an Eagles player miss Wednesday and Thursday's practice and still play. One of them being Kenny Pickett dressing only as the emergency third quarterback in Week 18. They dressed Tanner McKee and Ian Book and then had Kenny Pickett as the emergency guy. The other one was Johnny Wilson, who doesn't actually play. He's just a special teams and blocker in Week 3. They're the only 2 times out of 22 opportunities that you miss the first 2 practices and you play. So it's just something to monitor. I think we're leaning towards Cam Jurgens not playing. Steelers should have drafted Marino. I'm not going back into that time frame right now. This game should be like the 92 Cowboys-Eagles went for the Cowboys. Look, I see it being close. I see it being hard fought. I see it being a defense doing whatever they can to survive. Quinion Mitchell practiced in full. So he should be good to go to lock down Terry McLaurin. No chance that's what you got. But we have all seen how things can go when they do shit to themselves. Goddard not playing would be a huge issue as well. See, the thing is, I'm confused, Deebs. So I first told myself I'm not as worried about Dallas Goedert not playing because we've won games without Dallas Goedert. Grant Calcaterra has proven to be a capable pass catcher as a tight end. But we are also going to be missing our starting center and starting left guard because of Landon Dickerson sliding over. Dallas Goedert can block in the run game. Grant Calcaterra is probably the worst pass blocking or run blocking tight end or pass blocking tight end in the history of the NFL. So it is a big deal losing Dallas Goedert because of the blocking assignments and when you're missing your center. So that is a big deal right there. So it's in the passing game itself, maybe not so much. But everything else, absolutely a big deal. Vic Fangio's scheme is to play on the receivers like White on Rice, force them to run into the D-line. I find it very hard to imagine that Vic Fangio and his 40-plus years as a defensive coordinator will not have an amazing scheme designed up after already seeing Jayden Daniels twice this year and all the year's worth of tape, the whole year's worth of tape. Vic Fangio is going to have a game plan. Vic Fangio is ready for that offense. He did not practice yesterday. He was out there stretching, but he did not practice at all. He was listed as a DMP yesterday, just so you know. Calcaterra can't block. Exactly. So you're losing a lot in the blocking game. And when you're already losing Cam Jurgens and then technically Landon Dickerson at left guard, then you lose Grant Calcaterra in the blocking game. It's a big deal. Guys, you're watching Trend in the AM. There's 19, 20 people in the YouTube room right now. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. There should be at least 19 likes on this video right now. Please, let's build that algorithm. Let's keep building towards my final prediction for the game. That's what Vegas does. Advanced analytics. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. It could be a big day for Blasting game. Yeah, maybe. Maybe this is his moment. I mean, he's been active, K1. I think since week 17, I think he's been active for every game. He's not getting on the field much. But if you're missing Goddard and you're missing Cam Jurgens, you're going to have to run some of that fullback stuff out there. You're going to have to help in the blocking game. If we don't have Dallas Goedert and Jurgens, those are two gut punches right up the middle. That's hard to overcome. Absolutely agree with you. I have said that before online. Grant is the worst blocker. He's really bad. Really, really bad. The final go, no go with the starters comes out tomorrow, correct? Well, so after today's practice, the practice report, they'll have to say whether he's questionable, doubtful, or out. Doubtful or out, that's obviously bad. Questionable doesn't mean anything. It means more game time. But we'll have a better understanding today. Who's playing? Tonight, who's playing? Fangio going to confuse the shit out of Daniels on Sunday. I have full faith in Vic Fangio having the proper game plan for this, 100%. When the hell did either of Dallas or Cam even get hurt? I don't know, Nooms. I'm not sure. Cam Jurgens didn't have a back issue on the practice report last week. He did have his worst game in ages on Sunday against the Rams. So maybe he heard it early in the game and just toughed through it. Maybe he heard it on Friday or Saturday last week, toughed through it, and then the cold weather made it worse. I don't know. And Dallas Goedert, I mean, he's always banged up Dallas Goedert. So Vegas has some of the best mathematicians in the business. Absolutely agree with you. It's the reason why the better never wins. Big picture. Antonio Gates didn't block worth a crap either, just saying. That's true. I mean, Kelsey's not much of a blocker either as a tight end, especially not at this point in his career. Was Tony Gonzalez a good blocker? I don't even remember. Daniels turned it over a bunch last game against the Eagles. Vic already had him confused. Commies only had 14 points. Problem was, look, the problem in the last game was the numbers when Chauncey Gardner-Johnson went out of the game. First 9 possessions, they scored 14 points to Commies and had 4 turnovers. Last 4 possessions, they had 22 points and only 1 turnover because Chauncey Gardner-Johnson went out. And it's crazy to think that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson getting ejected from a game had that big of an impact on the defense. But it did. There's another thing. Based off of what Joe Witt said. They're going to play dirty. They're going to play hard and physical. The Eagles, especially Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and Jalen Carter, need to control their emotions on Sunday. They cannot let it get out of hand. They cannot take stupid personal fouls. They can't get ejected. No roughing the passer. They can't be that team because all eyes are on the Eagles, good or bad. Have a great weekend, folks. Get ready. Oh, out of here already, Rick. Dipping quick. But have a great day, Rick. Hope you have a great weekend. Go Birds to you, Rick, for sure. But anyway, back to the conversation at hand here. Vic Fangio. Like, the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson ejection affected the game so much. Hey, it goes to show how weak we are in the secondary and the depth portion of it. You know, we got Tristan McCollum and Avonte Maddox and whoever else that go back there. I don't recall Tristan McCollum getting much out of position, to be honest, in that game where CJ was DQ'd. I don't know. The numbers say the defense suffered massively after that ejection. And still, despite all that, all we needed was Devontae Smith to catch that one pass over the middle, right in the breadbasket, and the game's over. And we win that game, and it's a different story. Don't forget about that aspect of it. That it literally, one drop away from being a totally different outcome there. So, they're not using all those numbers against us in the argument. To talk about the Cam Jurgens, I forgot about another thing here. The Commanders are, with the potential loss of Cam Jurgens, the Commanders have the 5th highest blitz percentage in the NFL. Joe Witt blitzes at a 31.5% rate. Now, Jalen Hurts versus the blitz is a lot better than people realize. Versus the blitz this year, he's got 8 touchdowns, 1 interception, almost 65% completion. Okay? Only thrown 1 interception, almost 1,000 yards versus the blitz. Jalen Hurts is actually much better against the blitz than people realize. Jalen Hurts also does not get the credit he deserves on the check downs at the line of scrimmage and the blocking assignments that he calls out. The 2 big Saquon Barkley touchdowns last week against the Rams were because of Jalen Hurts making reads at the line of scrimmage and calling them out. Jalen Hurts' pre-snap football IQ is something that is not given remotely enough credit for. I majored in mathematics in college, but my analytic analysis revealed that I had a snowball's chance in hell to graduate. Oh, man. I never took any of that stuff in college. I took basic math, and that was it. No need to waste my time with anything too fancy in college there. I'll tell you that. Real quick, while we got a second, I do want to give some shout-outs here. A bunch of finalists, the finalists for a bunch of awards in the NFL were released yesterday. And there were Eagles, players and coaches all over the list. First and foremost, NFL finalist for Coach of the Year, Nick Sirianni, was not on the list. Dan Campbell, Kevin O'Connell, Sean Payton, Quinn, and Reed were your final 5. I think Nick Sirianni deserved to be on that list over Andy Reid. Personally, I don't think he deserved to win it. Personally, I think Dan Campbell will win it. But Quinn or O'Connell both are definitely in the running as well. Vic Fangio is a finalist for Assistant Coach of the Year with Joe Brady, Brian Flores, and the 2 coordinators from Detroit, Glenn and Johnson. Zach Bond is a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year with Myles Garrett, Trey Hendrickson, Patrick Surtain, and T.J. Watt. I actually think Zach Bond's got a chance to win it. It'll probably go to Garrett or Hendrickson, but Zach Bond has a serious shot at winning that. Both Cooper DeJean and Quinion Mitchell were finalists for Defensive Rookie of the Year, along with Braden Fisk, Chop Robinson, and Jarrett Verse. I think Jarrett Verse wins it, but Quinion Mitchell should. Barkley is a finalist for MVP and Offensive Player of the Year. Offensive Player of the Years were Barkley, Burrow, Chase, Derrick Henry, and Lamar. Barkley should win that. And then finalists for MVP were Barkley, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Jared Goff, and Lamar Jackson. Why Jared Goff's in that conversation, I don't know. But I think that goes to Josh Allen this year. So I think there's a chance that Zach Bond and Vic Fangio and maybe Barkley win some awards next week at the awards ceremony. I just wish Nick Sirianni would have gotten some credit for what he did this year. Because I think Nick Sirianni's done a great job coaching this year. My cousin's so good at math that he passed all his What? I don't even know what they are test-wise, but it is what it is. We got a Commanders fan saying Jayden Daniels, Super Bowl MVP incoming. Look, most Eagles fans are not taking Jayden Daniels light, like Commanders fans are taking Jalen Hurts light. I just find it hard to believe that he can win a fifth playoff game on the road, or fifth game in a row on the road, win it. His third straight playoff game. Vic Fangio knows what he's doing. Dawson, it's not Vic Fangio's first rodeo. He's going to have a great game plan. He has forced Jayden Daniels into turnovers in the past. I'm very, very confident in our defense slowing down Jayden Daniels. You're not going to stop him completely. You're not going to hold the Commanders to 10 or 14 points. They're going to score. But I firmly believe that Vic Fangio will have enough of a game plan to slow him down. Not in 50 years, I think we would be here after Mayfield gave Fangio a Wisconsin implode earlier in the year. Yeah, I agree. The first 4 weeks, it started pretty bad. And then the bye came, and things changed. And then the bye week came, and they figured it out. We won't fumble the ball twice with Brian Robinson again, let alone 5 turnovers. See, that's the thing. Jayden Daniels, I think, it goes to show how great of a season Jayden Daniels having, but also why I don't think they could beat the Eagles. You got Terry McLaurin. That's it. We're not scared of Brian Robinson. We're not scared of Austin Eckler. We're not scared of Zach Ertz or Brown. Your offensive line. Like, it's Jayden Daniels, it's Terry McLaurin, and then a bunch of okay, decent players. That's it. That's why we're not as concerned. Nick Luck, he not fired. Stop. Jayden Daniels even better than that last game. Maybe. I can't believe that Commanders defensive coordinator is threatening our quarterback. And see, the thing is, Mister, supposedly we're all overreacting to that because he says that all the time, every single week. But you put a big target on your head now. Now the Eagles and the rest are going to be looking out for it. Now Jordan Mailata is going to be looking out for it. Now Jalen Carter's be like, you're going to hit my guy, I'm going to hit your guy. Your quarterback runs just as much. Even a Commanders fan says, I agree, wouldn't be scared of anyone but Terry. And we've had mixed results this year. The first game, we held him to 1 catch. The second game was Quinion Mitchell's worst game of the year. I'm confident Quinion Mitchell and Darius Slay can put Terry McLaurin in lockdown. And Vic Fangio can just keep blitzing or rushing with 4 guys and shut the offense down. The key is to not let Jayden Daniels escape the pocket. The key is to not let Jayden Daniels extend drives on 3rd down. The key is to not have a 3rd and 11 and Jayden Daniels escapes the pocket and rushes for 14. That's the key to the Eagles having success. Daniels this year, 6th in dropback EPA. Jalen Hurts this year, 8th in dropback EPA. Eagles just run the ball more. If they passed as much as commies, absolutely. And I preach this all the time. If Jalen Hurts had 1,000 more passing yards, then Saquon Barkley wouldn't have hit 2,000 rushing yards this year. The conversation of Saquon and the rushing record would never be in the cards. So the press builds up narratives up just so they could be dramatic when they eventually fall. I like that. De'Ami Brown finally coming into his own, though. So if you double Terry, you don't need to double Terry when you've got Quinyanamo Bay putting you in lockdown mode out there. That's just my opinion. And Cooper DeJean has turned into, he's obviously a finalist for Defensive Rookie of the Year. He didn't even play the first 4 weeks. And he's a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year. Turning into one of the best slot corners in the league. Not worried. As long as De'Ami Brown isn't punching Chauncey Gardner-Johnson in the face to get Chauncey Gardner-Johnson ejected, I think we're good. Commies only have one weapon. Scary Terry. Well, Jayden Daniels is a weapon, Bills. You got to understand that. Hurts was also 4th in adjusted complete. Look, you don't got to give me, Anthony, the Jalen Hurts stats. You know that, right? You know I know and agree that Jalen Hurts is the man. Yeah, no need to double him when you've got great cornerback play. Math is for people that are good at following directions. It's not for people with ADHD. I always wonder if I actually have that, to be honest with you. Talking about CJGJ's penalty that knocked him out of the game was similar to Ali's phantom punch to Liston. No one saw what actually happened. Exactly. To this point, we still don't know what happened. We don't. And it's shocking. It's annoying. It's a pain in the ass, honestly, is what it is. For sure. But they got to have their heads on. They cannot allow the emotions of the game. They can't. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's got to cut back on yo mama jokes. That's what he's got to do. A few less yo mama is so fat. A few less of that to keep them in the game. Lattimore's finally healthy too. Absolutely agree. But I saw some other guys on your team have not practiced this week. One being whatchamacallit, your linebacker. Why am I drawing a blank on his name? Isn't one of your linebackers not practicing this week? So could be out, and that's a big deal. True. I think Hurts is more hurt than you guys think. Oh, no. I was studying every angle of every video from practice yesterday to see what that knee looked like. I'm shocked that he didn't get taken from the game last week. That knee is much, but Jalen Hurts is a tough guy. Jalen Hurts at 80% is better. Just like you'd probably say the same thing about Jayden Daniels. Would you want 80% of Jayden Daniels, or would you want Marcus Mariota out there starting? I will take 80% Jalen Hurts over Kenny Pickett. It's just the way it is. And it's the championship game. You power through this kind of stuff. Have a good weekend. Brian, good weekend to you too, my man. Enjoy yourself. Don't watch the Sixers, Brian. Lattimore going to pick up penalties trying to cover A.J. Brown. Very possible. You know me and you are on the same page, Anthony. De'Ami Brown being one-on-one coverage with Chauncey would concern me a bit. I think Cooper would be one-on-one with De'Ami first before Chauncey. If creators go up early, it could look a lot like the Lions game in my opinion. Absolutely, it could. But this Eagles team is a little different than the Lions. They're not a give-up kind of team. They're not going to roll over and play dead. That same ref told Barkley to stop John. Absolutely. Told Barkley that he was talking too much trash. Liston took a fall like Brando and on the waterfront. Could have been a contender. Bobby Wagner, he hasn't practiced all week. And if it's similar to the Eagles, numbers, if you don't practice twice in a week, odds are you're not playing. That's a huge loss. Bobby Wagner, yeah, exactly. We know Hurts is injured and still playing, yeah. Dang, since when you do analysis, Phil? Let's go. I know a little bit. What's up, Mitchie Poo? Good morning. What's new is, I don't know how many likes are on this video, but I'm sure not enough likes on this video. We got 20 people in YouTube right now. There should be 20 likes, and there should be more than 380 subscribers, guys. So hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. Let's go. I mean, one-on-one by a cleverly designed play call. Also, the referees are going to be god-awful on both sides. Look, you're new to this show, Dawson. We do this every single morning. Yes, you're a Commanders fan, but we talk all sports, and we've spent a lot of time since the playoffs started. Honestly, a lot of time over the last 10, 12 weeks just talking about officiating in football, baseball, basketball, and just how bad it is. But in football, it seems to be the most agenda-driven. The refs in the NFL have an agenda, and they push it. And I'm not sure what the NFL wants agenda-wise. Do they want the new shiny toy in Jayden Daniels in the Super Bowl? Or do they want the clickbait-heavy Eagles who are going to keep the media circus going all Super Bowl 2 weeks? Both things are good for the NFL. So I'm not sure where the NFL agenda is going to be pushed. But there is an agenda. And they want Taylor Swift in the Super Bowl, without a doubt. They want Taylor Swift there, so they're going to do all they can. Bills are going to have to blow out the Chiefs to have a chance. The Bills cannot win a 31-30 game against the Chiefs in the championship game because they want that three-peat. They want Taylor Swift, plain and simple. Barkley, who was the second least talked about guy on this team. Barkley, who is the least talkative. Yeah, exactly. He was jawing too much. Tell me something was wrong there, right? Hurts was moving surprisingly well from what the videos I saw, Nooms, he looked very good. The drill over that, they have that little pad thing where he's got his legs spread over it, and he does the little run and throw. Looked good there. Saw him on some play action, bootleg kind of runs. He looked solid in those videos. He wasn't doing much in those videos, but he looked solid, and he looked like he was throwing. And then he looked like afterwards he was walking. When you're playing, Sometimes you block out the pain. It's in between playing or walking out or off the field before or after practice. How do you move in regular general things? Is there a limp there? And I didn't see much of a limp from Jalen Hurts during practice. Hurts gets killed out there and gets the fewest roughing the passer calls. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. Bobby Wagner will play. They did the same thing last week, did they? Okay. Well, see, the thing is, so I've been talking about it with the Eagles having two guys that didn't practice, Cam Jurgens and Dallas Goedert, the last two practices. The Eagles, 20 out of the 22 times someone has missed two practices, they did not play. And one of them was just a backup quarterback that was moved to the third-string emergency quarterback. So realistically, only one of 21 guys actually played after missing two practices this year. So that's why maybe the Commanders have a different philosophy towards it. Maybe. But Eagles land, it doesn't seem like it. If Wagner was playing for the Eagles, Wagner would most likely not be playing on Sunday based off of missing two practices. I would love to hit that 500 subs by the Super Bowl. I've hit every number I got to hit to get this channel to the next step of monetization, except for those subs. And it's a travesty that this channel don't have 500 subs yet. I know it only started week 5, this channel, of the NFL season, so that's what? Like 15 weeks this channel's existed? But let's go. Come on. More people watch this channel than sub to this channel. The Ravens, who got the second fewest roughing the passer calls, got more in the game against the Eagles. They also had what was the stat? I don't know if it's still there. But we talked about it weeks ago. Maybe it was Ravens week. That the Eagles' opponents were the least penalized opponents of teams all year long. And that I'm sure it's close or the same still. Eagles' opponents don't get penalized. Yeah, you got to get to 469. You missed 369. You were slacking. You were slacking and missed the screenshot of it. You were. It's time to summon the spirit of Buddy Ryan body bag game. Daniels body bag. Frankie Louvu body bag. Commanders, put your body bag. Look, I'm not asking for anybody to get injured. I'm not asking for them to target or take dirty shots on anybody. I'm just not doing it. But Frankie Louvu, if he keeps taking cheap shots at somebody's going to pancake him on Sunday. For sure. Or somebody's going to pancake Jayden Daniels in a revenge factor. Just saying. Hurts runs like a fullback. Treat him like one. Okay. You won't feel that way when Jayden Daniels gets hit. Yes, Party on Broad took over the EOP YouTube page when EOP went poof, disappeared. That was not a blowout. That was poof, disappeared into thin air. So that's Deeb's Party on Broad's channel now. Yeah. So it just went poof. It just went away. That was like what, 15 weeks ago? 15 weeks ago. I mean, this channel existed because I had my own YouTube account, but it wasn't really a channel. STT Sports Network started 15 weeks ago. So there's that. That was the first thing I noticed on my YouTube when I saw a logo change 15 weeks ago. Yep, EOP turned into Party on Broad. It is. It's still a shame. Still something that breaks my heart. I should be packing up my bags for New Orleans right now. That's a different subject for a different day. He has been hit all season. He was injured for our 3 losses. Yeah, I know. And Jayden Daniels has not figured out how to protect himself. And that's something that when Jalen Carter comes piling down on you, it's something to worry about. Trust me. As a guy that's had a running quarterback for the last 4 years, you've got to be concerned with the way Jayden Daniels takes hits. We don't whine about it. We're not whining about it. Jeff Driscoll's the Commander's third-string quarterback if you want to file that away. For the body bagging, Brian Mitchell isn't going to have to come in as a running back to play quarterback. Was that who it was? I think it was Brian Mitchell played quarterback in the body bag game, right? Because we knocked out all their quarterbacks, right? Yep. If Hurts runs like a grown-up, he finally be tackled like one. Look, whatever. Look, you don't want Josh Allen taking unnecessary hits. The Chiefs don't want Patrick Mahomes taking unnecessary hits, even though he takes some not so bad hits and still gets flagged for them. But then stop saying Luvu dirty. Well, there's a huge argument to be made that he is. It's not just Eagles fans. FNAF boy. I thought it said frat boy there. FNAF boy. It's not just Eagles fans that are saying Luvu's dirty. Okay? The hit on Hurts was dirty. The hit on Jared Goff was dirty. There was a hit in the Cowboys game that was dirty. He is getting a reputation for that. Now, as I spoke with Ref the District yesterday, on my show and on their show yesterday, there's also a narrative that he's the guy that opposing teams think are dirty. But if he's on your team, you think he's just a gutsy, hard-hitting player. And I get that narrative. And he's got the opportunity to change that narrative by not taking shots to the head, not leading with his helmet. Plain and simple. Brian Mitchell. I thought it was Brian Mitchell. I thought it was Brian Mitchell. I wasn't positive. Wasn't there just a New Orleans Super Bowl? Was there? I don't know. But it's in New Orleans, and I was supposed to be doing this show from New Orleans next week on Super Bowl on Radio Row. Well, Super Bowl week from Radio Row. Obviously, the EOP thing changed that. Luvu dirty as F. Everyone knows it. If Luvu's hit was dirty, the league would have fined him. And I get that. I get it. I get it. And you know what? Ref the District said that, and I see that. They just, I'm telling you, that was on Patrick Mahomes. He would have gotten fined. I firmly believe that. Firmly believe that. No special treatment for Allen. He run first. Absolutely. No way in hell do we want to summon that fraud Eagles Buddy Ryan. Absolutely. I've been saying Buddy Ryan is overrated for a long time. That's why I don't like Kelly Green. Overrated. Who's complaining? We are giving you fact and pointing it out. Exactly. We're not complaining. Oh, okay, Padre Philip. All the talk is over, and far as the Eagles go, they locked in, line that shit up. Birds 28-17. Jose, have a great weekend as well. Goff was a defensive. Come on. Goff was nowhere near making that tackle. Okay? He looked for the quarterback and made a direct launching hit towards the quarterback. It wasn't necessary. Was Goff a defensive guy? In theory, yes. But he was nowhere near trying to make a tackle on that play. That was Luvu taking advantage of a situation and taking a cheap shot at a quarterback. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. And if it was somebody else, not Jared Goff, if that was Patrick Mahomes, a flag would have been thrown. Leads with his helmet all the time and aims for heads. Yeah, and when he misses the head, when it was Jalen Hurts, he missed the head, so he lowered his elbow. He dropped the people's elbow on his head. Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty upset about it still. It's still chewing away. It was my dream. Ripped away. I love you, Big Al. I played back then to Brian Mitchell and Freddie Mitchell. I played back them too? What? Sure, I have complete confidence in the league's integrity. That's why I don't bet football K1 much. The only thing I really ever bet anymore is I always throw one fun little parlay just for shits and giggles on the Eagles, like a same game parlay, and I'll throw touchdown bets out there. But I don't have faith in the league's integrity to bet games outright anymore. I just don't. My thing is, Commanders welcome, but if you can talk cash money like the Giants fans and your team stinks, don't get mad when I laugh. What? Okay. NFL is behind the commies because they have a new owner. You've been pushing this for a lot, and I get it. Washington hasn't had this much energy from a fan base in a decade. No, I would say in 3 decades. 3 decades. Yeah, just bet the Chiefs. Exactly. Honestly, Dawson, that's something that Washington and Eagles fans can agree on, is that, honestly, whoever wins this game on Sunday is going to have to do battle against the Chiefs and the referees and the NFL in 2 weeks in New Orleans. Plain and simple. Say what you want about NFL officiating, but the Hockley family has usually been way above average. Okay. NFL, Rick's back. Wants an Eagles versus Chiefs rematch in the Super Bowl. Mark it down. I think that's what they want as well, Rick, if you believe in this. For sure. The Eagles bring attention. No offense to Washington. They got the new shiny toy. But the Eagles and the narrative of 2 weeks worth of Jalen Hurts isn't a good quarterback and us getting pissed off by those comments and all. Look, you got to talk about social media impressions are just as important as TV ratings. Just like WWE cares just about the social media views on clips they post as they do about their show ratings. The NFL knows the Eagles equal money. They also know Taylor Swift equals money. Plain and simple. Get bent Rick. What? Was a tremendous ref. Was he? Okay. I'm not good with referee names. Don't remember. I remember Trinidad. Trinidad dipped on us so fast. How about Sean Smith? Yeah, exactly. Sean Smith, not so much. My wife is calling for an Eagles-Bills Super Bowl. She kind of has been right on a few things. Look, if it was just straight the best two teams, I think it would be Eagles-Bills. I do. And I want that chance to complete the NFC East sweep of the Bills in the Super Bowl because they've already lost the Commanders, Redskins, the Cowboys, and the Giants in the Super Bowl. The only team that hasn't beaten them in the Super Bowl is the Eagles so far. So let's complete that sweep. Plus, we'd have a lot of fun for 2 weeks, Duck, bashing Buffalo Bills Super Bowl account, on this channel. But, it's probably going to turn into Eagles Chiefs. Just going to be. Frankie Louisville plays like Rick James on the Dave Chappelle show. He's going to get jumped when he puts his feet on our couch. Somebody's got to send a message, right? Somebody's got to send a message. Right on. I don't know. That might be been one of our worst decisions, right, K1? Maybe. Definitely below average. Absolutely. We all agree on that. The Eagles show the NFL who the cream of the crop is in the NFC on Sunday. Eagles win 37-20. I just don't see that big of a decisive victory, Rick. I don't. If it's a shootout, 37-22, I hate to break it to you. If a team wins by 15 on Sunday, it's the Commanders. Well, I don't think the Commanders are going to win, but if it's a shootout, it's going to be like that. It is. You won't get as many ratings with the Daniels glazing over the last month. It's all it's about is the ratings. It's the dollars. The NFL cares about the money aspect of it. And the money says you want the Eagles versus the Chiefs. Plain and simple. I mean, no offense to the Bills. Is Josh Allen going to bring in the ratings like Mahomes, Kelsey, and Taylor Swift? No. There's no other personalities in Buffalo other than Josh Allen. The Eagles bring the hate and the Eagles fan base into the equation. The Commanders are just happy to be there right now. And that's right from their mouth because they haven't been there in 30 years. They're just happy to be there. I got told when I did the Ref the District recording last night for their channel that, well, don't worry, we still got 3 Super Bowls to your 1. I'm like, you got 3 Super Bowls, but none of them in the last 30, 40 years. Sounds like a Dallas Cowboys attitude, right? So the Commanders fans are just happy to be there. All of our wives are great. Can you imagine if the Bills team goes to 4 Super Bowls and loses the NFC? That's what I'm saying. I want to complete that sweep. Phil wants a chance to say, in your face. Yeah, absolutely. Eagles 28-20. Now, this is a more realistic score to me for the Eagles. I got it closer to that. I got my final score prediction written down already, but that's a much more believable score to me. Phil has died in the wool, Negadelphian. No, I'm not a Negadelphian. I don't know why you think I'm a Negadelphian. Eagles are up 37-14, and Washington gets a late fourth quarter meaningless touchdown to make it Eagles 37-22. Damn. I love your confidence. I do. Don't agree, but I love your confidence. I do. Yeah, my wife be predicting the future sometimes as well. Sometimes I think women are aliens among us. Maybe. Taylor Swift will be at the Super Bowl with all the Kelsey clan. If it's Eagles Chiefs, with Travis Kelce obviously on the Chiefs, will Jason Kelsey show up in an Eagles jersey or a Chiefs jersey? Will he sit with the Swifties or will he sit with Jeffrey Lurie? That's the question. Ref the District is shit. Go talk to. I've known Ref the District since they got started. Sorry that you don't agree with them. I'm gonna write this down. I can't wait to tell them about this. FRAF boy. I got to write your name down so I can let them know. I've been working with them for 4 years off and on, so I don't know anybody else in Washington Commanders group. The only other person from Washington I've ever had on is Brian Mitchell a few years ago. So yeah, I don't know too much about Ref or the Washington content creators. I worry too much. I'll sweep everyone in chat, get bent. Yeah. Fear leads to the dark side. Fear, get a dog if you're scared, whatever. It's not fear. It's just honestly looking at two great teams about to do battle. That's all I'm looking at. Jake Elliott was paid off to not cover the spread. We haven't talked about Jake Elliott much this week. The level of concern of Jake Elliott. That's why I don't have 28 points. You're never going to have an even 4 scores with 7, 28, 35, 21. That's never going to be the score for the Eagles because Elliott's going to miss kicks. I think they are just in touch with the energy flows that we don't feel as much until our lives are in danger. Phil needs new glasses. Might be actually soon. They will sit with the Lorries because that is where Jason and his mom will be sitting and kicking it with Bradley Cooper. Or they'll be sitting with Taylor Swifty. You never know. Best ratings are Daniels versus Mahomes. No, I don't think so. I think it's Hurts versus Mahomes for the ratings. Eagles make a statement. I'm going to make a statement soon here with my final predictions. I have been calling that for weeks now, and you're finally getting on my bandwagon. What was Noom's last comment? I don't even know. Jake Elliott was paid off. Yeah, exactly. Look, the integrity of the league is in question, for sure. Glasses make you look smarter and more distinguished. No one has ever thought I look distinguished, just so you know. Guys, make sure you're hitting that like button and that subscribe button, the share button. Oddly enough, the entire week, this has been the slowest week in the chat and slowest week on the algorithm. Oddly. I'm not sure what I did wrong this week, or today, but whatever. Daniels, the new Mahomes versus the NFL, I'm guessing that means. Maybe. Versus the old one. Look, maybe Daniels is the new Mahomes. He is the new shiny toy. Glass will just make Phil look like Joseph Lennon. What? That's ratings. What? Mahomes versus Daniels? I don't know. Jake Elliott, the most accurate field goal kicker in the postseason history, but most inaccurate extra point kicker in postseason history. It is an odd dynamic, right? I mean, we don't win last week without some clutch fourth quarter kicks from Jake Elliott in the Snowball 2.0, Rick. But yet, it also wouldn't have been so close if he didn't miss those extra points. What is Jake Elliott? 28 for 28 in his postseason career on field goals? Something like that. And it's an insane number. Phil be tripping. Daniels and Mahomes will nationally get best ratings. No, because there's no Eagles fans. Eagles fans will tap out if we lose. Doesn't being off one day impact that, though? What? I'm thinking more like, stop, guys. Stop. Hurts and Mahomes would be the battle of the hated quarterbacks. Absolutely. Haven't had a good cigar in a long time. But anyway, back to it. So first, before I give the Eagles prediction, I need to give a Bills-Chiefs prediction. And unfortunately for you, Bills, I am going to predict the Chiefs win. It's a 2-point line right now. First and foremost, the only way the Bills win the game is if they blow out the Chiefs. If it could be something like 35-17, 38-20, that is the only way the Bills win this game. If it's a close game coming down the wire, the Chiefs are without a doubt going to win that because of the narrative of the refs, because of the benefit of the doubt. So I'm going to go 31-30. Chiefs win with a last-second score and break the Bills' hearts. That's my final prediction there. Who cares? Stop. Yeah. I am not a communist, okay? All right? Just get that right. That Elliott dichotomy is a lot like Clayton Kershaw, regular versus postseason. You don't have a podcast Tuesday. Isn't that why your numbers? No, my numbers have been great this week. Just today's numbers aren't great. 2 or 3 times this week, I've hit 30 concurrent viewers. Not today. I don't even know if I've hit 21 concurrent viewers today on YouTube. I'm not a communist, okay? Just so you know. NFL ain't going to let the Bills win. I'd like the Bills to win, but the NFL ain't having it. The only way the NFL will let the Bills win is if they get out to a huge early lead, up 21-3 early, something crazy like that, where the Chiefs just can't catch up. So the Bills got to do double duty on Sunday. They got to beat the Chiefs, but they also got to beat the refs as well. Hurts is the only successful quarterback in any franchise that gets hate from their own fan base. No one puts this type of crap on Allen. Absolutely. Herbert, I could throw him in there. Trevor Lawrence. Well, some people probably hate Trevor Lawrence down there. But yeah, I agree. Rick is right more often than not. Just so you know, Rick's a fantastic gentleman. Well, I don't know about gentleman, but fantastic dude. Absolutely. Duck is right as well. We have to beat the refs in our game too. I mean, and the Commanders have to beat the refs in the game as well, I guess. I ship on Allen every day. Do you? Well, you might ship on him. But I think the national narrative is not that big a deal. Jalen Hurts has played in the Super Bowl, 2 championship games, 4 straight years to the playoffs. Josh Allen hasn't done that. Lamar Jackson hasn't done that. Joe Burrow has almost done that, but not, as he misses the playoffs this year. Gentleman and a scholar. That would be a Mr. Iezzi comment from Devin Prep right there. You are a gentleman and a scholar, for sure. I am not a gentleman, and I'm definitely not a scholar. Don't all fan bases treat their players and quarterbacks with recreational outrage? I don't know if that's true, Nooms. I don't. At least not to the level that we do. That's K1 numbers, yeah. After all, we are not exactly. Some of us might be. I don't know. I don't know. I will say that I did find out that I had hired a communist once at the pizza shop. This young delivery driver. Odd story here. I had this kid working for me, nice kid. He was a delivery driver, whatever. And then I heard him talk. There was this like Vietnam vet guy, stereotypical looking dude, like in the army outfit, all shaggy looking, eating pizza in the shop. And he was just chit chat with him one day. Like some of the things he's saying just don't sound right. So I went and I found this kid's Facebook page. And there's a big, giant flag in his profile picture. I'm like, huh. And I started reading some of his posts. I'm like, huh. I think this guy's a communist. Turns out he was. And he just didn't show up one day, probably because I found out who he was, just so you know. The Commanders DC comments just gave us bulletin board material. Yeah. Again, as I've been reminded by 6,000 Commanders fans that Joe Witt says that kind of stuff all the time, still doesn't make what he said right, mister. You're a gentleman and a scholar with an understanding of beer and liquor. We would love to have. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We are all communist socialists until we get rich. True. All right, I got that. He liked in the Army now. I like the Pauly Shore. What? I knew there would be a good communism. And I can't even remember the kid's name, but I knew, like, it was so funny. I don't remember what flag it was. It was one communist country's flag in his profile picture. It's like a Seinfeld bit. It really, truly is. If you think about it, it's really weird how a word derived from community has become such a dirty word. Yeah. All right, let's get back on the Eagles. I got to give my final prediction here before I wrap this shebang up. Eagles just almost beat the commies with Kenny Pickett and a ton of our backups. Fear not. Well, I am not fearing not. I've got the Eagles winning. All right, I was going to predict a higher score, but this whole Cam Jurgens situation scares me. The Dallas Goedert situation scares me. I am going with a close game. I've got the Eagles winning 27-23. I have the Commanders driving late in the game to win the game, and Jalen Carter bursts through the middle to get his second sack, maybe a strip sack fumble recovery to seal the deal for the Eagles. Eagles win 27-23 on the backs of Jalen Carter and Saquon Barkley. That's how I see it playing out. Now, I did have 30-20 written down, but this Cam Jurgens thing made me cross that out. 27-23. Eagles are going to their second Super Bowl in the last 3 years. You heard it here first. That's how it's happening. Pauly Shore had a movie in the 2Ks in the Army now. Pauly Shore made movies still in the 2000s. I don't think I've ever seen a Pauly Shore movie straight through. Bob, I don't know. Were either of them geniuses? I don't know. Washington isn't the same team from either of those weeks, and the Eagles aren't the same team. 27-23. That's what I got. I got Eagles, Chiefs, Super Bowl. I'll give you that chance, that prediction in 2 weeks. But, I hope we're sitting here in 2 weeks talking about my Eagles, Chiefs, Super Bowl prediction. Cosme being out hurts the Commanders. Absolutely. I gave you the numbers. The pressure rate the offensive line gave up with Cosme in versus with Cosme out is almost 30-point difference. Just so you know. Go Eagles. That's right. Go Eagles. Bobcat is the misunderstood genius. Sure got by on his mom's apron strings. Honestly, I couldn't even name a Pauly Shore movie off the top of my head. I know I've seen bits and pieces of them, but I can't even think of them at this point. K1 says 25-16. Is that a scoregami? That sounds like a scoregami right there. But I like that score. I tried to come up with a score prediction of under 20 points for the Commanders. I did. Because our defense is that good that they can hold them to 20 or less. I just couldn't come to it. Trent is a solid backup, but that still hurts them. Yeah. Eagles 30-16, another blowout. I just don't see the blowout, guys. I just don't. I hope so, but I don't think so. Barkley, 200 total yards on Sunday. Jayden Daniels has 3 turnovers. Eagles win. Yeah. That last turnover is going to come on the final drive to seal the victory. Firmly believe that. Biodome. I remember that name, and I remember Encino Man. I think I watched that. I think I remember that. Noobs, I like this score, 19-13. Possibly a scoregami. Possibly. But I also like the low-scoring attitude because I think it's going to be a defensive battle. Normally when you get 2 high-powered offenses, something happens, and a low-scoring game comes out of nowhere. I can see it. I work with another blowout, 30-17. One day we will dive into the vast aura of Carrot Top. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love a good Carrot Top joker too. Carrot Top is so overrated, or he's a genius. I'm not really sure which one he is. Washington's defense is terrible. They are, but I don't know. I don't know. In overtime, you got an overtime victory of 19-13. I don't know if my anxiety and my stress level can handle an overtime championship game. Damn. I don't know if I can do it. If it goes to an overtime, then a Saquon Barkley breakthrough run of 70 yards to win it would be the answer for me. Carrot Top hasn't been the same since the roids. Yeah, he did get really big. I saw Carrot Top when I lived in Vegas. He does a fun show. The last time I was in Vegas, well, not the last time, a couple times ago in Vegas, he was at this. He was at the what's the one with the pyramid? He had a residency at that casino. That's where we were staying. And we thought about seeing it, but then I was like, it's Carrot Top. I'm not actually spending money to see Carrot Top. Why would I? Anyway, guys, final thoughts. Eagles, Commanders, Chiefs, Bills. Should I do a live show on Sunday morning? Maybe. Maybe I should do a live show. The Luxor, that's the name of that casino. There you go. There you go. It was a good casino to stay at, too. Always catch the Penn and Teller at the Rio. They're always fun. I'm a huge Penn and Teller fan. I love their TV show where they have the magicians do stuff. I'm a big Magic guy, Duck. I love Magic. Eagles go for it on 4th down instead of an Elliott kick, and the fans are still dissatisfied with the win in Sirianni. Exactly. Eagles win big on Sunday. Bank it. I hope so. I got to think about whether I'll do a pregame show. I'm thinking about a pregame show on Sunday. Go through some of the betting numbers and whatnot. And more talk, maybe we'll do a 2 o'clock Sunday, 1:30 Sunday pregame show. Maybe. But if not, final prediction is 27-23. Maybe we'll be having one hell of a week next week, getting set for a Super Bowl. I want to run the score up on the Commanders, up 30 points with a minute left in the game, have Hurts throw it deep for – that would be something, wouldn't it? That would be something. Sirianni has been less of a clown and seems more focused on his team. Have you seen the Eagles unscripted from this week and Sirianni's messages to the team? I mean, it's fantastic. It's fantastic, Duck. Sirianni, I know you're not a fan of him, but Sirianni's the man. With that being said, guys, I got to wrap this up. I got a big day at the pizza shop today. Come on out, Fox's Pizza, Kennett Square. Let me make you a pizza, cheesesteak, whatever you want. But I'll be there all day today, guys. I'm going to end it right here with the Eagles 27-23, playing the Chiefs, who are going to beat the Bills 31-30. Go Birds, guys, and bubbles up.
Pop, 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 julep. pop, 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 julep, pop, 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 julep.